What's up, kid folk? It's RJ Young. I am not on Step Mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always college football related, sports related. We have a good time. Today, I'm going to talk with Gabe Eichert and Barrett Sallee on their Sirius XM radio show about, Ohio State versus Oklahoma. Iowa State coming back. Oregon pushing Ohio State. Name, image, and likeness. It goes all the way through. But I also, on the back end, I started a Twitch channel. Talk a little bit about that, and I shout out the people who follow the Twitch channel. Probably a thing I'm going to keep going. All right. Yeah, let's talk.
Don't be cornering me. Hold up. Time. You got to help me with that corner shit.
Yeah.
I'm good, fellas. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for hopping on this lovely Sunday morning. Pac12 big news this week with George Kliavkoff being named the commissioner. First thought when you heard that news this week?
First thought was who, and then like everybody else in this business, do you do your due diligence and you say and everything starts to fall into place and make a lot of sense. Like, I gave myself some credit for the punny tweet with the better hire, Bettor, because that feels like where we're headed with all of this. And I think the Pac-12 is also making a really good play to set themselves up for perhaps a new model for how we distribute college football content. But as you guys will know, the last time they tried to do something like that and make their own granola, it didn't go so well for them, and certainly not for Larry Scott. So we'll have to wait and see.
RJ, what did you think of his initial comments in his opening press conference? Talked about the importance of improving in football, improving in men's basketball, talk name, image, and likeness, came out pro playoff expansion. What were your thoughts on what Kliavkoff had to say initially?
Hey, Gabe, you know as well as I do, no head coach has ever lost his introductory press conference, and I felt like the same was true for George. It's like, hey, he's saying all the things that we would like to hear him say, but let's see how those things work in action. I was really just looking around to see how the room was reading George, right? Because I know how I might feel or how even some coaches might feel. Certainly the presidents are all the way behind him, but is this going to go over with Pac-12 fans? And I think right now, we don't really know, right? We're going to know a lot about this when he's got to get into rooms with people to make deals for the conference and on its behalf. But I think you guys would agree, it's a sleeping giant over there. They understand how to do business. And if they get those programs to rolling with an emphasis on football, then yeah, they're going to be as tough as they were when Pete Carroll had USC going, as tough as they were when Chip Kelly had Oregon going, and all the way back to Rick Neuheisel and Washington. And I mean, I'm just looking at this just the other day, guys. Arizona State played in the Rose Bowl in 1997. That's the last time they played in the Rose Bowl, right? They haven't won one since 1987. If you can strengthen the program through the middle, or I should say the conference through the middle, where you had those sorts of teams playing in those sorts of games again, I think everybody's going to call this a home run hire. But again, we'll have to wait and see.
RJ Young joining us here on College Sports Sunday. And RJ, a lot of this is, okay, USC is going to be good, right? What else, like specifically this season? Is it just as simple as Oregon following through on the hype, or does there need to be more in terms of the Pac-12 making a significant leap?
Nah, Barrett, I think you can start with Oregon following through on the hype. And the reason I say that is because as much static as the Big 12 catches for having a one-team league in Oklahoma, ain't nobody coming out of the Big 10 except Ohio State, and they don't have that same reputation. So if you can get a team like Oregon into the into the college football playoff and perhaps even win a national championship, we're going to talk about you totally differently. You say the same thing about the ACC with Clemson, and before that, Arizona, Florida State. I got the Pac-12 on the brain, guys. I'm so sorry about that. But I do believe that if Oregon goes into the shoe and comes out with a W, yeah, we're going to talk a little bit differently about the Pac-12, and you can do that as soon as September 11th. Now, again, would it hurt you if USC is good? No, it doesn't hurt anybody if USC is good. It helps the sport if USC is good. But until then, push Oregon and push them hard.
RJ, we got a big FCS Championship game today. How do you think that one's going to shake out? I think that a lot of people see South Dakota State as the better team, but maybe Sam Houston, the most dynamic playmaker in this thing.
All right, Gabe, now you're speaking my language because I'm so into this. I'm so into this because Sam Houston State had the toughest road to get here, okay? Like, you beat up North Dakota State, which I think is in its own, category because they've won like 8 of the last 10 national championships. It's ridiculous like that. But you got a W against them and came from behind to do it. And then you get JMU, right? And James Madison is running this game. 24-3, they're up. And then here come the Bearcats, right? And to your point about most dynamic playmaker, perhaps both of you will appreciate this, but Gabe, you in particular, I think that Eric Schmidt at quarterback for Sam Houston State is what everybody at Texas thought David Ash was going to be. All right? Like, that dude can move. Now, I don't know about the 4.4 speed stuff because I don't think that if the dude had 4.4 speed, we'd be talking about him playing quarterback at Sam Houston State because there's a place in Austin, there's a place in Lubbock, there's a place in Dallas, there's a place in Fort Worth. There are lots of places around Texas where they would love to have that kind of a quarterback. So that part I'm a little skeptical of. But if he can get out there and make it happen the way that they were making it happen against JMU, it's going to be one hell of a game. Now, the thing that is interesting is, their head coach is basically like 20-0 in playoff games at home. But this one ain't. It ain't going to go that way, right? Because as you said, South Dakota State is a very good football team, and they have their own dual threat here. No, I'm excited about this. Jackrabbits versus Bearcats. First time we've ever been able to say that, and we're going to see a first-time national champion in the FCS ranks, which, again, is no small feat. And by the way, not a terrible way to go about your business, having, nice, big, large playoff. Or am I, just taking that in a different direction?
I disagree with you.
Yeah, there he is.
Oh, we're not friends anymore. The FCS line, we've talked a little bit about the show in the last couple of weeks. FCS in the spring, just in general, is it something you're in favor of?
No, I'm not. Because while on the one hand, I understand we could get more quote-unquote exposure for the FCS programs, I don't know that that's doing the kids a service who have been playing the game in the fall forever and want to play the game in the fall. And we're really talking about a bunch of kids that aren't going to play in the NFL. And I think they deserve to have their season honored in much the same way, as opposed to us moving it to the spring for television purposes. Plus, you're up against, in a normal year, Major League Baseball. And I know we got at least one enormous Braves fan here who's not necessarily looking to clock away from that to watch the FCS. And then you'll have the NBA, and as soon as April and May kicks off, nobody really is going to be watching. But I think as a test case, this is great because we know that we can do it. But no, I want to see those programs play in the fall like everybody else, and then we'll see what happens. But if there was some great reason as to why, I'd be all ears to hear it.
RJ, I do want to talk a little Big 12 with you because I know you still follow the conference extremely closely, and Kansas has been made fun of for a long time in the Big 12. But doesn't it feel like they got their guy with Lance Leipold? I mean, it feels like that Travis Goff, the new AD there at Kansas, hired the best guy possible for that head coaching job.
Nah, Gabe, I think you're on it here, man. I gave this an A+ higher. I mean, I honestly didn't think they could get a guy like Lance Leipold. You look at his track record, you look at his resume. I was actually catching some hell about this on Twitter, and it was like, yo, why are you so high on this hire? Have you seen this man's resume? There's 6 national championships over there, man. Everywhere he goes, he flips a program, and they win. And they win playing what everybody loves. So I say everybody. A particular brand of football that I think is palatable to everybody, right? It's not necessarily going to be pass happy. It's not going to necessarily be we're going to grind you out, but we are going to run the football. We are going to play defense. We are going to be technically sound. We're going to be disciplined. We're going to make you make mistakes. And I think with that hire, I was just looking at this. You got a head coach who's won a national championship at Kansas. You got a head coach who's won a national championship at Kansas State. You got an assistant at Baylor and an assistant at at Texas that have done that as well. Steve Sarkisian being head coach, Dave Aranda being head coach at Baylor. It's a strong conference now, and I think if you're going to build from where Kansas is, which is the floor, you need a guy that understands what that build is like. You need a guy who is going to be patient with you, and you need a guy that everybody wants to follow, and he comes in with an immediate, hey, I know how to do this. My staff knows how to do this. If you let us go to work, we will build you a contender. And I don't think it's going to be long before we start talking about Kansas the way we've been talking about Iowa State. And I, as a Big 12 fan, am very excited about that because I want to see this conference be so strong through the middle that people have to give it its proper due.
RJ, last thing for me, you briefly mentioned Iowa State. Obviously a dream season last year. Pretty much return all all really big offensive weapons. What do you make of the Cyclones this year? A team that can make the Big 12 championship game again, or a team that can conceivably win it?
I think they could have won it last year, quite honestly, and I think they could win it again this year. I'm very high on Mike Rose at linebacker. I thought he had a great case for Butkus Award winner. I mean, and I was a Zaven Collins guy, and I really like Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, who ended up winning the award out of Notre Dame. But you look at what that dude was doing, like something like 95 tackles, like 4 interceptions. It's just ridiculous. And then Will McDonald on the edge had 10 sacks. And I was like, am I the only person paying attention here? Because it feels like we're not talking about that dude literally at all. You get Greg Eisworth back again, so your defense is going to be strong, and John Haycock knows what he's doing with that umbrella. We're going to keep everything in front of us and tackle in space. And then you mentioned it. Offensively, Brock Purdy's back. The first and only unanimous All-American in Iowa State history is back at tailback. You got Charlie Kolar out there at tight end who's going to have us weeping tears in Norman once again because it's another great tight end that managed to get away. Some dude like George Kittle maybe came through there. I don't know. But look, I think that they have it to go. It's about, with them right now, it's mental. Because last year they were doing this thing for the first time. And we saw what that was like for them in the Big 12 championship. But we also saw what that was like for them when they played what I thought was a decent Oregon team. I mean, they won the Pac12 championship without winning North, but they still won it. And they ran roughshod over them in a major bowl. So, yeah, I think we could see them play for the Big 12 championship. And I think if they won it, is it that far-fetched for Iowa State to be playing in the college football playoff? No, I don't. I think those are your two class teams, but I also think that this is Oklahoma's window year, the best window year it has had since 2017. So they'll be going against a program, at least one program, that is built to win national championships. So that's going to help them out as well. Yeah, I'm excited about it. I'm excited about them. I'm excited about Texas. I'm excited about Texas Christian. Like, I'm excited about Dave Aranda's defense. Like, yeah, I think I'm talking myself into a very fun Big 12 this year.
I think it'll be fun, too. I lied. I have one more thing.
Okay.
Name, image, and likeness obviously coming with the quickness. Big impact, no impact, marginal impact in the near future, and what do you expect long term?
Marginal impact in the near future. I think all the people that are doing the most talking about it haven't actually thought it through or haven't looked at the details. I think that whether or not Congress gets involved is going to help the NCAA, but I don't know that that's going to change anything. I think there's going to be a couple of deals that are going to make everybody's eyes pop out. For the most part, it just means that kids are going to be able to make shoulder money, right? A kid being able to have their own YouTube channel, for instance, and y'all will know that's how I came up. And that's a very big deal because that is a way in which you are actually teaching the kid how to manage themselves and manage their own business. And I think they should be able to do that because you only get to play football for so long, 4 years to play 5. I think that 5 years to play 4, excuse me. I think when we look at the administrators, they're going to wait. And then when somebody lands a kid because they have a name, image, and likeness bill passed, we're going to see them proliferate everywhere. And then we're going to have the Wild West. So after we get that part sorted out, I don't think it's going to be that big a deal because, I mean, everybody knows how to make money. Everybody has a side hustle. I mean, shout to you guys, right? Because you understand this better than most. And I think if you just take that broadcaster experience and you take how you've been able to make a living and you apply that to what they're going to do, you'll be like, oh, yeah, okay, fine, whatever. Why is this a big deal? That's where I think it's going to come off. I think people don't know enough to make a good decision or have an informed opinion about this thing just yet. But that's okay. We're all going to learn it together because it's brought up here. It's going to be brought up tomorrow, and it's going to be brought up until we get something like normalcy in name, image, and likeness.
RJ, a lot of states in the SEC footprint, right? That's going into effect July 1st. The NCAA doesn't have anything in place. As far as we know, how do you think that whole thing is going to be handled? How do you think that's going to play out? Because it does feel like that is a big advantage for those states.
Good for those states. I couch this the same way that I couch college football. Like, for me, yeah, there's the modern era and post-World War II, but football became totally different in college with integration. And the teams that integrated first were really good, and they won championships. Like Michigan State won national championships in the 60s, went down to Texas to go get players, right? You look at what everybody knows about that Alabama-USC game. You look at how the NFL and the AFL were drafting HBCU talent with the quickness, right? The 1969 Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs had a majority of the black starting roster. I think if you are putting that bill into place right now, you are giving yourself an edge and advantage because you want to win, right? And as much as we talk about the SEC and nobody wants to hear, quote unquote, talk about the SEC, which I think is a bold-faced lie, we talk about it because they want to win. And that is the reason why you put this bill through. It's not necessarily because you think it's right. It's not because you think it's fair. It's because you want to go beat Oregon. You want to go beat USC. You want to beat Oklahoma. You want to keep them where they are. And if you have an opportunity to go out there and give yourself an advantage by just saying, hey, kid, you can go make a buck on your own, go do it. I don't understand why it feels like they have to do this first. I think if Oklahoma wanted to do it, that'd be great. Texas wanted to do it, that'd be great. People forget California was the first to do it. It's just their bill doesn't go into effect till 2023. And then you had Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida come through and say, nope, I got to be able to recruit because I got to be able to win. So I think you're going to see it. And I think you're seeing it proliferate in the southern states and the southeast in particular because they're the best at winning. 11 out of 15 national champions come from that region, come from that conference, and you're seeing why.
Yeah, plus it's, I think, even more important to look.
So that was fun, and I appreciate you for sticking around to this part because I am mostly keeping my word on something that I said I would do, which is shout out all of the people who followed my Twitch channel. It's in the description below. I am there under the username I am leveled up. So please give it a follow if you like Twitch. I'm going to be over there streaming Destiny, Madden, racing, mobile games. May do some COD. But that was a lot of fun. I got to see some friends and talk to some people that I hadn't to normally. So I want to go ahead and pull up the Twitch app on my phone so I can go through the folks. And you know what? Because there aren't that many of them, I think I'm going to do this until we get to like 500 Twitch follows. So I'll be checking in periodically. I have a schedule that is posted on the Twitch channel as to when I plan to stream, and I'm going to try my damnness to keep that schedule as best I can. All right, so let's start at the bottom, go to the top. Valiant Packs, appreciate you. Stillwater OK, appreciate you. Ash Falcon, that's what's up. fcurd.com, Queen L. Michelle, thanks, babe. Sooner 5 Ever 24, D1 Andy Only One, I Am Coop TV, what's up, Coop? Wicked Jester, Brady 58, Travis Siri Airy, Zachavelli, Red Dragon, who was in the chat. Appreciate people being in the chat. Boost Mode, Phantasm, Geese, Tony, Dusk Zay, Boomer Sooner 57, Scotty Man, Gravy Vampire, Pinks, G Sanders, Killicam, Yin Bong, Doyle, Killanolaflin, okay, Huggy Bear, Midway Monster, Bones, Amelia, RJC Lifestyle. Hey, what's up? TYWA, Jacob Money Swag, Eric Gog, Jizzle J. Let me see. Mata Mad, The Drop Edit, Try My Stop that. Biggie Vallecourt, Decaffeinator, appreciate you, Tyler. Hum Now, La Pistola, dude goes by La Pistola. Kim Burger, KB Burger, appreciate you, dog. Nerf, Alt 95 Nis, Abby D, Lol J Denson, Team Main 87. I'm Just Brady, Youngwood, Replay. That's for everybody who was kind enough to follow the Twitch channel. Again, it is in the description below. Plan to stream later tonight. Been playing some Destiny. Got a new PC. Having a lot of fun with it. All right. That is it for me. Deuces.